On the Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield, this is the Fight for Iowa podcast, brought to you by Athletico Physical Therapy, proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Big Ten Conference. Also by Iowa's Corn Farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Also brought to you by Shields. We're right there with you in Des Moines, Sioux City, Iowa City, and Cedar Falls. This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa women's Big Ten basketball title run included 24 wins last season, and all 5 starters return, including the incomparable guard Caitlin Clark and star post Monika Czinano. Coach Lisa Bluder and her team begins the new season Friday night against Division II Nebraska Kearney. Coach Bluder joins me in the Fight for Iowa podcast in just a minute. Sponsored by Iowa Corn, Shields, and Athletico.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
Oh, you know that old injury of yours, the one in your knee or maybe back? Instead of going to the doctor and then doing physical therapy, why not start with therapy first? Athletico Physical Therapy is changing the whole healing process around. Their physical therapists will find the source of your pain and help fix it. Start with them and start living pain-free. Just like that.
It all starts with Athletico Physical Therapy. Schedule your free assessment at athletico.com. No prescription needed. Proud partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes.
This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hall of Fame coach Lisa Bluder has guided Iowa basketball for 23 years. One of 5 Division I coaches with 800 or more career wins. Bluder looks forward to this upcoming season more than most. The Hawkeyes are defending Big Ten champions and are the favorites to defend their title starting this week. Indiana, Ohio State, Michigan, and Maryland are the challengers. All 5 starters from last season return, led by All-Americans guard Caitlin Clark and center Monika Czinano. With success and expectations comes pressure, a price, and a bullseye on the jersey. And that's fine. Bluder has had talented teams throughout her career, and she's talked often this off-season with her young women about what lies ahead.
In every single game we played, not just within the Big Ten, not within just the state rivalries, but, we're playing a really competitive non-conference schedule, including going to Kansas State and playing Oregon State and Portland and possibly Duke or UConn. I mean, we have a great schedule. And so every single game, when you're ranked as high as we are, everybody wants to take you down, right? Everybody wants to have that opportunity. So we're going to get everybody's best shot. We know that. But I think that also with all 5 starters returning, that we'll be more prepared to handle that earlier than we usually are.
Caitlin Clark, most notably, she averaged 27 points, 8 assists last year. She's the Big Ten preseason pick for Player of the Year. And yet I heard a couple of interviews with her this summer, Lisa, where she was passionate on improving in a number of areas with her game. Now, among us mere mortals who will never be Caitlin Clark, but we love watching basketball, what areas would those be?
We wanted to reduce her turnovers just a smidge. I think, she led the country in assists last year, and we think she can even do better than that. I've challenged her to try to get 10 assists average, which is really hard to do. But I also want her to lower her turnovers a little bit. Sometimes she takes a few risky passes that we don't need to have. Also, I really want her to be selective in her off the ball or dribbling threes. Sometimes, we all know the logo threes. We understand that. But sometimes she fades a little bit on her dribbling threes coming off ball screens. And so we need to correct that a little bit. And we're trying to add a little bit of a post-up game to her repertoire as well, just because they usually put the smallest guard on her. And so here's an opportunity for us to post that person up and maybe draw fouls on them.
And she's tall and lanky with long arms, so she'd be a tough guard down low as well. Monika Czinano is one of 20 players named to the Lisa Leslie watch list this week. It recognizes the best center in the game. Now, Megan Gustafson is a past winner. Monika led the nation in field goal percentage at .679 last season, just off the charts. She averaged 21 points, was all Big Ten, honorable mention All-American. What I've always loved about her game, Coach, is she never stops moving. She's 99% of the time she's moving in the right direction, and that's at both ends of the floor. I know she has great floor awareness, but, it looks to me like her high school and club coaching prepared her well for Iowa.
Well, she's done a great job. And like you say, she does have a great motor. She does keep going, and she does a lot of her work early. And I think Coach Jensen does such a good job teaching our post players and explaining to them, get that position before you have the ball in your hands so you can go right up with the shot, which sounds like so easy, but so few people do it. They want to put the ball down on the ground. And when your post puts the ball on the ground, it's an opportunity for a mistake. It's an opportunity for them to turn the ball over. It's an opportunity for them to be doubled, an opportunity for a guard to come in and swipe that ball away. So we really try to emphasize, keep the ball high, make the read before you get the ball in your hands so you can go right into your quick shot movement.
Coach Lisa Bluder, our guest this week on the Fight for Iowa podcast, and we'll come right back with Coach and wrap things up in just a minute.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
There's a sense of pride that comes from the life of a farmer. How many people can say they have a famous tan named after them, or be known for their wave when they drive past neighbors and strangers alike on a 2-lane road? Whether it's a farmer's tan or the farmer's wave, we are proud to be known for a lot of things. We feel that pride every night at the dinner table, knowing we feed our family and yours. Iowa Corn is proud to be on the sidelines cheering on the Iowa Hawkeyes. In Iowa, we grow corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa.
This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
We continue our Fight for Iowa visit this week with Iowa basketball coach Lisa Bluder. Coach, with McKenna Warnock, Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall, all returning with that valuable experience to go with your two All-Americans, what contributions do you look for each of those three to make?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is everybody knows about our dynamic duo, but we have a nice cast around this. They are stars in their own right for sure. If you look at Gabby Marshall, who oftentimes gets the hardest defensive assignment for us. She's led our team in steals last year. She does a great job anticipating steals, but she can knock down threes, and she's doing a great job of that again this year. Kate Martin, I've always described her as the glue to our team. Every coach needs somebody in the locker room that's making sure the right thing is going on in that locker room. Kate provides that for us, as well as she goes to the boards really well. She's just a versatile player that can really guard every position on the floor. And then McKenna Warnock at the power forward position can really stretch defenses out with her power, her ability to knock down threes. She sets good screens. She works hard on defense. And so, I'm really, really love that we have these three just really great players around these two stars.
Yeah, no introductions are needed on where and when to share the basketball with those five defensive switches, rebounding position. This group has been together so long, and they know and like each other so well, Coach. And I know that that's always important with you in terms of chemistry. And, sadly, veteran guard Kelly Feuerbach will miss the season with a knee injury. We wish her the best. You do have solid bench strength returning, though, with veterans and newcomers alike. And that includes a heck of a recruiting class ready to break out immediately. How's your rotation off the bench going to look, at least in November and December?
Right. And it was a bad thing to lose Kylie, because Kylie was really our first guard off the bench most of the time last year. So we lost a little depth there. But we got some depth at some key positions with recruiting. First of all, we had a transfer from Central Michigan, and we're not going to go to the transfer portal a lot, but we'll go there if we have a necessity. And we really needed somebody that felt comfortable backing up Caitlin at that point guard position. And Molly feels very comfortable. She goes from being a star player for 3 years at Central Michigan to coming here for 2 years and then really backing up Caitlin, going from a star to a non-starter, but she'll also play for us at the off-guard position. She has got an unbelievable basketball IQ. She is court savvy. It is going to be really fun to have her and Caitlin on the floor at the same time together. And then Hannah Stolke was ranked about 40 in the country coming out of Cedar Rapids, Washington High School. She's going to do a good job for us. She's going to add rebounding to us. She adds height, athleticism. She can attack off the bounce. I mean, she is going to be a good player as a freshman. So I really look for those two newcomers to make a real impact for our team.
Lisa, going forward, then the season opens Friday night against Nebraska Kearney, a really good Division II program. What's most important as you get into November and you approach the holidays, preparing for that Big Ten season?
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of easy games. Like a lot of times people will schedule some easy games. This Nebraska Kearney game gives us a chance as an exhibition game to really experiment with some different lineups against people other than our gray squad of guys or against ourselves. And so I'm looking forward to that. We have a couple of easier games. I hate to say that, but to start November. But then after that, there's no easy nights after that. I mean, playing at Drake and hosting Iowa State and UNI. I mean, we just don't have any easy games. We're bringing Belmont in, a team that's receiving votes in the national polls. So it's going to be a challenge. And so I think this exhibition game and first two games, we got to really make sure that we are just in flow and fundamentally sound and really working together as a group, adding those new pieces to the puzzle.
We'll look forward to seeing you or the men and women in particular cross paths, a double header here or there. I always enjoy watching your teams play, Coach. And thanks so much for joining us on this week's Fight for Iowa podcast. We'll do it again.
Thanks, Gary. I always appreciate it. Let's go Hawks.
Go Hawks. And we'll be back to wrap up this week's show right after this pause from our sponsors.
More of the Fight for Iowa podcast after this.
Here we go. Exciting adventures await. Grab your bucket list and keep the fun going all summer long. Pitch a tent, grab a sleeping bag, and sleep as a family under the stars. Fire up the grill and host a backyard barbecue. Visit a local trail for a hike or a drive to a state park for an all-day family adventure. With all there is to do this summer, we encourage you to get outside and make new memories. Whatever you do this summer, Shields is right there with you.
This is the Fight for Iowa podcast. Here's the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Iowa heavyweight wrestler Tony Cassiope earned his second medal at the Under-23 World Championships this past week in Spain. Cassiope added a bronze medal to the gold he captured a year ago. The Roscoe, Illinois native pinned Japan's Cal Shuto in 33 seconds to reach the medal match, and then saw opponent Ural Idzinski of Ukraine injury default. Cassiope has won 7 of 8 matches at the Worlds, his last 2 appearances. Second-ranked Iowa starts its new season on November 13th, hosting Cal Baptist at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Thanks again to Iowa women's basketball coach Lisa Bluder for appearing on this week's Fight for Iowa podcast. I'm Gary Dolphin. Go Hawks.
Hawkeye fans, remember to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Once you become a Fight for Iowa podcast subscriber, you'll automatically receive the latest episodes of the Fight for Iowa podcast, the Hawkeyes Voice podcast, Hawk Talk replays, exclusive game day content, and more. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.